Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest. Today, we're going to be talking about a couple different strategies you can employ to help you beat Earth Select Quest number 10. We're also going to talk about Earth Select Quest number 9 and 8 after that. Some things that helped me clear that. I did have a little bit of difficulty on them. Let's go ahead and dig in. So instead of actually playing through each mission independently, I think the most important thing I could do is show you guys kind of some tips and how I approached these missions. And specifically, especially with Earth Select Quest number 10, there are some very specific strategies that you can utilize in order to give yourself an advantage. So let's go ahead, we'll take a look here. You can see I don't have all the missions done because I picked up a fucking crystal like an idiot on my like 5th time through. So there's some problems, but the problems are with me, not necessarily with the strategy. So you can see here, we are utilizing Durando, Murmur, Mont, Livial, and Balo. Pretty much the two things that are non-negotiable at this point regarding Earth Select Quest 10 and some of the easier ways to beat these missions are actually having access to Balo or Lorenzo. Even having them 99 is fine, but having access to AP break, in this case we'll utilize TP break with Balo and AP break, can actually make the mission significantly easier. Now for this mission as well, you will need Livial because the disable does help. There is a strategy you can utilize without Livial, but the problem is Livial is going to be your best healer. Yes, Murmur has access to Cura, but that's not going to be enough most of the time. It's going to be just the healing potency is not going to be there from Murmur's Cura. So of course, coming in here, everybody is probably familiar. If you're watching this video, you probably struggle on this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to place Murmur up top here. We're going to place Livial in slot number 2. Now, the reason we do that is because these dragons right here, they are all susceptible to disable. So given that your Livial has enough agility, you are going to be able to disable 2 of the dragons right away. Then probably the next scariest thing is going to be the snakes down here, and a lot of people talk about Titan, and Titan is, to me, not that scary. What's more scary is the Malboro that spawns after these snakes, and I'll show you guys how to deal with that. But in terms of dealing with these guys up here first, what a lot of people are probably noticing is these guys will just shred your composition. That's why I utilize Livial to disable 2 of them, which kind of just leaves them out in the middle of nowhere. There's a couple of other strategies, such as building Murmur to be specifically magic resistant and tanking them all up here. There's another strategy I've actually seen where Mont is actually put up here, and the Mont and Murmur kind of, like, the Mont will tank all 4 of them, and then the Murmur will like pick them off and tear them apart. So there are some different strategies. This is probably the easiest strategy, and you probably don't have to have like a Murmur 120 to pull it off, or like a really buff Mont. So this is definitely the easier way to go here. Now for down here, you see I am going Mont, Durando, and Balo. Now there's a couple problems here. For those of you that do go Lorenzo, because Lorenzo, as far as I know, doesn't have TP break. He only has AP break. And we actually utilize Balo's TP break to shut down the, to actually shut down the Malboro so that it's not a problem. Mont's sole job here is going to be to tank Titan, and Mont will literally solo Titan the entire round. We're literally just going to leave Durando and Balo here. Now, my Durando, as all of you guys know, is pretty specifically built. He's actually built, you'll notice that he has 31 AP here. Now, this is very achievable if you do put Odin on him, if you have him level 120, and if you have him in the situation where he can utilize, you know, potentially like, I don't know, the VC that gives AP plus. So the Earth Attack plus 35 VC does give AP plus 20 as well on it. So that's on him. If you're struggling on getting like the remaining missions on this map, you can actually put Maraga's TMR, right? Because you can clear and get the Maraga shards to get Maraga's TMR. And then you can put the Maraga TMR on Durando to have his initial AP be higher. The reason I do this is you'll see my Durando can actually one-shot the snakes here. Now, if you're incapable of one-shotting the snakes, it's okay to go ahead and take, you know, 2 turns to take the snakes down. But I just found it easier to go in with Durando. My Durando is not buffed by a lot of ECs. Literally, his buffs that he has on him are like Earth Attack plus 35 and Attack plus 50% from the other VCs in the party. So I'll show you guys how that works here. And the timing just seems to work out perfectly. You'll see we're going to start out with Durando, run forward. And the ability that you want to use is his Massacring Cleave here, and you can see it will one-shot the snakes, which will cause the Malboro to spawn. Leave that there. Livial, you can see when you use the height 3 disable, has a 100% chance to disable the enemies here. So she's going to disable both of them. Now, it's really important, don't move your characters, because moving your characters actually reduces CT in this part of the stage. And then with Murmur, you just want to start picking these units off, right? So I used a Jamming Thrust so that Livial's next turn can AoE Stonera these monsters, and then Murmur can Jamming Thrust the other one, right? So Livial is potentially going to get to low health here. I have had Livial die because those 2 dragons will attack Livial, and if they get a crit, Livial can die, and so you might need to restart the mission. But trust me, it makes it a lot easier. With Balo, you can see the Malboro has already spawned, right? So we're just going to run forward, and we're just going to wait. And that will actually enable Balo to take an action before the Malboro's turn, which is before we can get bad breathed. We're going to have Mont come over here. It is important that you don't group your units together. So you're going to see here that I will move my Balo like significantly out of the way. You can see those, they're just going to run around. And you can see Livial is really low. It can be tempting to heal Livial here. But really, I just go and I continue to deal damage because there's nothing that threatens her. And it's going to be more problematic to have 2 of the dragons alive than to actually have low HP right now at this point. So you can see we're just going to Jamming Thrust the next one. Pretty easy, pretty solid beginning. Now, I'm going to move Durando up here. Now, the reason I'm moving Durando up here is that he's going to be out of the way of the AoE from Titan. So Titan will solely focus on Mont. And you can see Balo is taking his turn just before the Malboro here. We're going to run forward, pop my abilities, and then we're going to do TP break. And this will stop the Malboro from using bad breath. And that is probably what I would say is the most difficult part of this fight, is kind of planning and strategizing all of that out. Once you kind of have this intro figured out, it's pretty easy. Mont just stays here and tanks Titan. The rest of the party takes on the rest of the adds. When the 3 Earth Element humans spawn, you take them out. It's pretty straightforward. One problem with this strategy is when you do get to the Chain 5 achievement and the other Titan has spawned, and if you do use AP break on the other Titan, it will stop him from making any moves. However, it will also stop him from taking any action, so he will not attack your units. This is a problem because if he's not attacking and he's not moving, his CT is not being used up. So that means it's going to be a lot harder to actually get your Chain 5 elemental hit on him. So when you are working on getting your Chain 5 elemental hit, either do it earlier in the fight or hold off on AP breaking the Titan, or have another strategy such as utilizing, like, I don't know, Steel Time or something, or I don't even know if there's an Earth Element unit with Steel Time in this composition, but, you know, Agility break. Just make sure you have a plan for getting that Chain 5, because you can get to that point where you're like, yeah, I've AP broke Titan and now he can't do anything. And then you can be like, oh, fuck, right? Because you're not going to be able to get your units to take turns fast enough in order to actually get your Earth Element achievement there. Now, if you do find another way to deal with the Malboro, you will be able to you know, potentially just bring Lorenzo for AP break. I know there's people who have dealt with the Malboro naturally as well, where they're just like, okay, it's a Malboro, not too big of a deal. So again, you're going to kind of have to find some wiggle room and adjustment for compositions that work for you. But that is what I did. And that's kind of what I've seen people do, is kind of figure out a way to deal with the dragons up top, try to take out 2 of the snakes at the bottom at once. And then for me, I decided to TP break. You could probably, if you can get 2 units turns in, take out the Malboro that way as well. Let's talk about Earth Select Quest number 8, and then we'll get into number 9. Number 8 is interesting. Number 8 is also very good for initial deployment. It's also very important to have AP break, right? Now, a lot of the problems on this map are kind of people needing to get the kill 2 achievement. You can't heal, right? And that's understandable. That's a difficult mission. But it's not too hard if you do have a plan in place. And probably the biggest damage dealers on this map are the 2 Drain Force users on here. Now, what we're gonna do here, if you have Lorenzo, put Lorenzo where Balo's at. I'm just gonna leave Balo directly across from the soldier here. What this means is my Balo will be able to run forward, AP break this soldier, and I will not have to worry about him using Drain Force. For the other soldier, it's like just gank and kill him. If you don't have the capability to gank and kill him, maybe have Lorenzo and Balo in your composition and both AP break. Now, in terms of the archers on the side, if you have Murmur selected here, so if we have Murmur here, she'll probably do it here. She can jamming thrust this guy up here. And of course, for Durando, I would have launch available, and I would just go ahead and move forward and launch if you can any of these guys, kind of take them out. When the Lamia spawn, not too much of a threat. What you want to do for the kill 2 achievement is you want to do it on the final wave that spawns. So that's going to be the dragon and 2 snakes that spawn right here. What I did is I took Mont's ability. Here, I'll start the map just so that I can show you what ability on Mont I used. Just to give you some clear direction here. So there's a couple ways to go about it. You could go actually with Massacring Cleave, which I showed you guys before, killing those snakes. You could support with Livial using AoE Dark Magic in that moment. What I did was I used my Mont, and then I used Breakdown here. So if you aren't familiar with Breakdown, it is a attack that does piercing damage, which means it'll hit the 3 squares in front of it. It is a break, so it lowers attack and magic. So all I had for the Kill 2 achievement is I had Mont positioned up here. He was fighting the Lamia previously, and then I knew they were going to spawn in these positions exactly, and I moved Mont kind of up here into the, you know, just waiting. When it spawned, I moved Mont down, Beast Breakered, or whatever it was, and whatever this attack is called, and I killed the 2 snakes. So that's kind of how I got the Kill 2 achievement. The AP break on the soldiers is really important too. That's going to stop them from using Drain Force, which is the most damaging technique. One good thing that will work on this map, if you have the vision card for Mont that gives him enmity up and missile attack resistance for the party, that is going to be helpful here since, of course, we're going up against some missile attack based units. Now, for Select Quest 9, this is actually the mission that gave me the most frustration. And I'm not even going to go into the map because there's a very specific strategy I utilized, and that was Livial. And I tried clearing this map so many different ways, and it wasn't until I used Livial for height-based cure for all of the healing power that she has, because she has significantly more healing power than Murmur. It wasn't until I did that that I was able to successfully clear Select Quest mission number 9. Now, some other things to keep in mind that screwed me over in my first run. When you do see King Elda spawn, King Elda should be a priority number 1 target, because King Elda does have access to a Doom ability. So he will use it, and your units will get doomed. His first move, though, he will always use Sharp Spear, and Ifrit will always buff himself with Fire Attack up. So when the Fire Element units spawn, literally blitzkrieg your way over there, because you don't have to worry about them attacking you. Luartha might attack you, but the Fire Element units, their first attack is always going to be a buff. So you can charge your units forward and not worry, right? Because Siren is like on the offensive, like holy fuck, she'll charge you down and AoE your party. Fire is really like they'll buff first so you can move in and kill them. And then Golem, the key with Golem is very magic weak. So making sure you have Murmur jamming thrust. My Murmur was jamming thrusting for like 9,000 damage on him. And then kill Livial, or not Livial, kill Luel as soon as you can. Luel is the most dangerous creature on this map, I would say. Literally, like, Golem doesn't hit that hard. You know, Balo, who cares about Balo? Charge your ass in and kill fucking Luel. Like, she will wreck you. I mean, there's just no preparing for it. She will, dead. Anyway, everybody, I hope you guys get at least something out of this that's helpful for you. This is kind of all the strategies I utilize to be successful. If you do have some strategies of your own, particularly for mission number 10 or mission number 9, definitely put them down in the comment section below. I know a lot of people have been getting a lot of good use out of Etchery, so I would love to see some specific like ability chains with her that you've been using to get the max out of her. But yeah, hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you guys later. See ya!